I can explain. I'm sure we've seen many of these users on seemingly every map we come across, but if you really think about it, a lot of these players have different playstyles and prioritize different things when it comes to setting scores. So I wanted to create a sort of rating that takes all the elements of setting a score and really getting a better idea of who's good at what. Also, make sure you watch all the way through, as there is a few extra users I will be adding to the list who aren't quite in the top 20 score ranking. Now, before I begin with the main tier list, I want to calculate a few other notable users who are well known when it comes to setting leaderboard scores on maps. We can use them as a way to demonstrate how the formula works. 2KY, or Sky, is one of the best accuracy players in 4K, holding over 1,000 first place scores on maps. They're also quite high in the general rankings and have a decent amount of SS ranks and rank score. Plugging the numbers in, and that gives us 0.56 points, which is honestly pretty low compared to what you'll see in the rest of the video. Another fan favorite is KcHecKa. They have decent stats overall and a really clean set of SS ranks compared to A's. They get 1.06 points overall. So basically, there are 3 categories that I'm basing the points on: rank score, your first place scores, while also factoring how much PP you have, and your total SS count, while also accounting for how many A ranks you have. For these 2 users, you can see that KcHecKa gets a bulk of his points from having many SS ranks, while 2KY is stronger in the number 1 score section. I feel like these are the main categories when it comes to score farming and leaderboard farming, and that's what I mainly wanted to compare in this video. Starting with the banana tier, and what? Banana. We have these 4 users. We can see that the main thing bringing them down is that they don't have many or any first place scores, as well as a lesser amount of PP compared to the other users. I would say that I'm impressed at how Zazuma has such high rank score considering he was a standard main, and the fact that all of them have over 5,000 SS, so really great job for these players. For the mushroom tier, we have these 3 players, all of which are very high on the rank score leaderboard. Easy stood out the most to me. They have a really solid ratio of SS to A ranks, as well as being relatively high in PP. Retro 8X barely edges them out, probably due to the rank score being higher. I Love Mike Neko is doing very well on the rank score, being in the top 3, but not many SS ranks or first place scores. Again, I am measuring all 3 categories, so that's to be expected. Fireflower tier, we have these 4 users. Brittany Miller has one of the highest SS counts in the game, but remember, I'm also accounting for A ranks too, so they don't get as many points from this. Their PP is also kinda on the low side, so that's why they ended up in the middle overall. 0216MMY. I'm gonna be honest, I've never seen this user appear on any map leaderboard, but they are ranked 2 for score. They have over 36,000 S scores, but because I'm not really including that into any formula, besides rank score I guess, they kinda end up in the middle. Infora is a pretty decent player with many number 1 scores. Honestly, kinda like the Mario of score farming, I guess. Well balanced stats across the board. By the way, if you've been enjoying this video so far, give me a thumb button. Give me a thumb button. Give me a thumb. The lightning tier, we have these 5 users. Quite the diversity in the ratings here. For the rank score, this leans more towards to Charchu Westia. First place scores is definitely more strong for Alcade and Maiden. Really good 5k players there. And for SS ranks, that goes to Sitarg, Charchu Westia, and how do I read this? KcHecKa. Now this is where things get interesting. We have the star tier. This is definitely where you see players having a distinct playstyle and prioritizing specific things when it comes to setting scores. And this is where a little bit of subjectivity comes in, as the formulas used in the calculations was based on 3 players and what I thought about them. Anyway, we have Miyanaga S2 Saki, one of the highest first place score counts in the game, as well as really doing good in the PP rankings, high SS count, high rank score count. You see this user on so many 7k converts. He's a very similar player to Major Nikolai 54. Pretty solid first place scores, decent rank score overall. However, I think the thing that's dragging him down in the calculation is the amount of A ranks. Now, I know a lot of people don't really care about setting too many A ranks, but I did want to account for this somehow. I honestly had the most trouble trying to calculate the ratings for these 2 players, as they're both really impressive with how they set scores, and their sheer amount of presence on the leaderboards. But this is how the numbers just balance out, so I'm kind of okay with that. Next is Trans Rights. She has one of the highest SS counts compared to A ranks, and that's where the bulk of her points come from. Decent amount of first place scores as well, while also being high in the score ranking. These 3 players are all very skilled similarly, so really the ratings can go in any order. Now moving on to the crown list, and before we get to the last player, which we all know who it's going to be, there's still 2 extra players that I want to calculate. KcHecKa is a seemingly retired player that has over 7,000 first place scores. Plugging in the rest of the numbers gives them 1.72 points. I would say that this is in star tier, yeah. Pretty solid set of scores. And Outlast. This dude is a tank. Very skilled 7k player with many first place scores and a decent rank score in SS count. They have 2.81 points. Crown tier for sure. Now, how does Grilled Cheese compare to the rest of these players? Well, just the sheer difference of rank score between the top 2 ranks alone would be enough to put them in star tier. He has over 21,000 first place ranks. 21,000. That's more than the amount of plays some users have on their profile alone. That's more than the next top 3 combined. It's incredible. Including the SS amount of 44,000 and the few thousand A ranks in there, Grilled Cheese gets 5.87 points. The difference is so pronounced that I literally have to create another 2 tiers just to get the point across. And here's the finished tier list. I want to reiterate, this was purely for entertainment purposes and shouldn't be taken serious in the slightest. You can play the game however you want, it really doesn't matter. There was a bit of subjectivity when I put the list together, as I was the one creating the formulas based on how I felt, but I think I did a good job of highlighting some of the differences between these top score players. Anyway, leave a comment below if you have any thoughts or questions, video ideas. I'll make sure to respond to every comment on this video. It's me!